The question of how much debt is needed to grow an economy and when there is too much debt is a serious conundrum for economists. For now, our focus here is just on the consumer. However, corporate and government debt can be just as important, and we will cover them in the future. As economies grow, they tend to use more debt per unit of output. Debt greases the wheels for more efficient capital allocation and commerce. So debt to GDP ratios rise on average and over time for healthy growing economies. Unfortunately, we observe times when debt levels become unsustainably high, eventually leading to borrowers getting into distress and becoming delinquent on their interest payments. The trick is, against a backdrop of the debt to GDP ratio naturally climbing over time, when is there too much debt? On the consumer side, when debt loads get too high to be smoothly serviced, consumers will make selective choices on which bills to pay first and which to delay. Typically, student loans will be the first interest payment to be skipped when money gets too tight. Consumer credit, such as credit card debt, comes next on the list of payments to delay. Most consumers try hard to make their automobile payments as they need their cars to get to work and earn money. And lastly, the home mortgage payment is missed only as a final resort. While this hierarchy of debt repayment sounds reasonable, the key is to observe what is happening on the evolving pattern of loan delinquencies. In the last few years, two types of loans are seeing rising delinquencies, namely credit card debt and automobile loans. Delinquency rate for home mortgages and student loans have been relatively stable. This interesting pattern of increasing problems with consumer credit and automobile loans and yet no sign of trouble with student loans and mortgages suggests that a different explanation may be appropriate. That is, delinquency rates may be rising for credit cards and automobiles because the standards of providing credit may have dropped and there are more loans being made to less credit-worthy people. This can be good for the economy to include more people in the credit system, so long as the credit providers are appropriately pricing and managing their risks. Our current baseline assessment is that the high levels of debt in the U.S. are not yet indicating that a recession trigger may be near. This interpretation is subject to change, but for now, this long-lasting economic expansion appears to have plenty of life left. Even though the trend rate of real GDP growth has decelerated into the 2% per year neighborhood, it's still going on. I'm Blue Putnam, Chief Economist, CME Group.